The air in the Grand University Auditorium was thick with tension. Today, a lifetime of quiet service was being called into question. Mr. Park Min-soo stood alone on the stage. For 20 years he was just a shadow at the gates, unnoticed and unspoken to. The dean's voice boomed through the speakers, cold and demanding answers. A large sum of money had disappeared from the student fund. In the rows of seats, students whispered. Some filmed with their phones, ready to post the downfall of the man they barely knew. But the truth of Mr. Park's life was written in the early morning light, long before the campus ever woke up. He was always the first person there, greeting students with a humble nod that few ever bothered to return. His kindness didn't end when his shift did. Often he stayed late to help the cleaning crews, working in silence. He lived a life of simple sacrifice, saving every penny from his modest salary for a reason no one understood. Back at the hearing, the evidence seemed clear. A notice on the screen labeled him a thief of 20 million. The dean leaned forward, his eyes stern. Mr. Park, did you take this money from the Student Emergency Fund? A heavy silence fell. Then Mr. Park bowed his head and spoke 3 words that shattered the room. I did take it. The crowd erupted in gasps. The man they thought was a harmless old guard had just confessed to a major crime. But as the dean prepared to call the authorities, a young woman stood up from the back, her face pale with emotion. It was Kim Ji-yoon, a medical student. She walked toward the stage, her hands trembling as she approached the microphone. With tears in her eyes, she told a story no one expected, a story of a life-saving surgery she couldn't afford. She explained how Mr. Park had used his access card to enter the office not to steal but to find help. The projector screen changed. It wasn't the theft they saw but footage from a hospital corridor late at night. It showed Mr. Park handing over an envelope. It wasn't the school's money, it was his own life savings given to save a student. The 20 million won from the school was still in the safe. He had only admitted to the theft to protect Ji-yoon's pride. Suddenly another student stood up. He paid my late dormy fees. Another shouted, he bought my textbooks when I had nothing. The hall was no longer a place of judgment, it was a place of collective realization. They had ignored a hero among them. The dean took off his glasses, his stern face softening into one of deep humility and shame. He announced that the fund would be renamed. It would now be known as the Park Min-soo Student Support Fund. The auditorium erupted into a standing ovation. For the first time, the man in the navy blue uniform was truly seen. Mr. Park bowed one last time, not out of shame, but out of a quiet, humble joy. A small smile finally touched his face. The next night, the campus gate was the same, yet everything had changed. The shadows were